Hello everybody and welcome to Forever Rugby on Forever Sports. For today's preview, as the Lions have travelled over to Ireland and will be taking on Leinster this weekend. It's the weekend that South African fans have been waiting for a long time, as we finally sort of put an end really to the South African sort of derby section of the United Rugby Championship, a derby section which was never supposed to be like it was, but unfortunately due to COVID concerns, they had to rejig the calendar, and we then ended up with back-to-back matches between the local franchises. However, that is now over, and all four South African sides are over in Europe, taking on European opposition, which is exactly what we want to see in this competition. That's the whole point. We want to be going to new places, playing in new stadiums, taking on new opposition, and not just being a very local tournament. And it's sort of starting to feel a bit more sort of normal in terms of the rugby calendar, in terms of being able to go over, play at a foreign opposition away, and then come home and play a foreign opposition, and start to sort of give us an idea of what we can expect in the years to come within the United Rugby Championship. Before we look at the two teams for this particular clash, which I think is going to be a very long night ahead for the Lions, please do smash a like on the video and subscribe to the channel as well. Kickoff is at 9:30. It is after the Zebra versus Bulls game. We'll be live for both those games tomorrow night, so come and hang out with us on a Friday night. Let's watch some South African rugby, shall we? But in terms of how the teams line up, now the Lions are quite lucky in that there are no Ireland internationals involved in the lineup this weekend. However, this is Leinster, and they did not become the most dominant side in this competition for the last decade and a bit by mistake, and it's because they've got an unbelievable amount of depth within their squad. And you look at this side, it's a phenomenally good side against the Lions side, which is struggling. If you're going to be very honest, it's struggling, and without couple of big names as well. So in terms of the Leinster side, this is how they will line up. Now, there's some pretty big names sort of jumping out there. But if you look at the front row, you've got Ed Byrne, James Tracy, but very notably, you've got Michael Alaalatoa, who is as experienced as you get, really. He's won most of what there is to win. And I think he's going to be a very important player. He's going to be a very interesting player, because I think the Lions they pride themselves on their scrum. That's the one thing they've got going for them at the moment. But Michael Alaalatoa was going to have a lot to say about that tomorrow night. In the second row, Devon Toner and Joe McCarthy. Devon Toner is a very good player. He's definitely one for the future, and somebody that is worth watching out for tomorrow. And then you look at this loose forward trio of Josh Murphy, Dan Levy, and then to have Rhys Ruddock captaining the side. I mean, Rhys Ruddock for me is one of the best loose forwards in the competition. And he's been in sublime form the entire tournament. So to have him still within the side captaining it is exactly what you'll want as a Leinster fan, because it's all the experience, it's all the class, and whilst it's going to be a Lions side which might not push Leinster as far as we might think, they're a side that sometimes can turn it on all of a sudden. They're a side that sometimes they can flick a switch, and they can suddenly start quite well. And if there's one player who's not going to be worried about that or be very calm no matter what the situation is tomorrow night, it is Rhys Ruddock. The halfback combination is Nick McCarthy next to Ross Byrne, who's another very exciting player to watch out for. And then the rest of the backline is Dave Herney and Tommy O'Brien as the two wings, Harry Byrne, Jamie Osborne in the centres, and Max O'Reilly at fullback. Off the bench from the men from Ireland, it's Sean Cronin, Peter Dooley, Thomas Clarkson, Jack Dunn, Max Deegan, Luke McGrath, Adam Byrne, and Scott Penny. So it's a very good Leinster side. Obviously, it gets a lot better when you're putting on all the Irish stars. It's still a quality side. There's still far more international experience and international pedigree in this side than there are against the Lions side, which is incredibly young and incredibly inexperienced. And this is how young and inexperienced they are. So a couple of big changes, and they really are backing a couple of very bright youngsters, which sometimes goes one of two ways. Sometimes they're not ready, sometimes they rise to the occasion. The biggest change for me sees the return of Jacob Asaki at hooker, because Lions have been an absolute disaster for the Lions in the last couple of weeks. And hopefully the return of Jacob Asaki might mean that the set piece, which the Lions need to be able to use tomorrow night, might be a little bit more reliable. Cease Torley is also back in the starting lineup at loose head, and I think him, Jacob Asaki, and Carly Sardi are going to be a huge part of any sort of Lions positives tomorrow, because I think that front row is very good, and I think that they are taking on any front row in the competition right now and looking very good, and in fact besting a lot of them. So that's the one area which I think the Lions will look for tomorrow. However, in European conditions, especially with European refs, you don't often get as much reward as you would in South Africa when it comes to scrum time. In the second row, PJ Steenkamp, Ruben Schoolman. PJ Steenkamp has quite a lot of bulk and a bit of grit to the side. We've seen quite a lightweight pack in the past when it comes to the Lions, with the likes of Ruan Australia at lock. So sometimes lacked that little bit of grunt, lacked that little bit of weight. So Peter Steenkamp does bring a little bit of that. Jaco Kriel starting to look back at his best, and he's captain the side, but there's a big call at number 7. Ruan Venter, the 19-year-old, will get his first start for the Lions. Both the Tuka brothers are unavailable due to paperwork issues. They were not allowed to travel. The sooner those two can get their passports, South African passports sorted, the better, because that it's a huge gap in the side. You put Vincent Tuka into that loose chair, into that pack, and suddenly he's feeling a lot better about life, And then Franco Horn, who is a very exciting young 8th man, but is still sort of learning the tricks of the trade and sort of developing at this level. I think he still makes a couple of errors which he'll quickly remove from his game as he gets a bit more experienced. And then very excitedly, Morne van den Berg and Jordan Hendrickson get a start together. Now, Morne van den Berg, for me, changes this line side when he comes on. The tempo goes up. And the entire sort of continuity of the Lions attack changes when he comes onto the park. I beg his belief, the fact that he has not been playing more. So it's fantastic to see him starting. I think Jordan Hendrickson as well, hopefully back to full fitness. Those two for me are the best 9-10 combination. And if the Lions want to have any success, those two need to be playing as much as possible. There's a lot of excitement around Neville van der Merwe. He's got Stian Pienaar on the other wing. The centre pairing will be Burger Odendaal, Wandisile Similani. Burger Odendaal confirmed playing in this final season for the Lions. He's going off to the Premiership to join Wasps next season as the Lions exodus continues. Rumours about Carly Sardi and Richard Tuka also being on the in negotiations with other clubs. Also rumours about Wandisile Similani leaving. So the Lions at the moment are just a little bit of a joke, to be honest. But then very excitingly, Kieran Horn, the 20-year-old fullback, Junior Springbok, is at fullback, and I'm very excited about that because fullback's a position I think the Lions have really struggled at, because Evia Viljoen is not fast enough, for example. I want to see Similani does a job at fullback when he plays at fullback, but he needs to be playing outside centre. And Tiaan Swanepoel is the number 1 fullback at the moment for the Lions, but a lot of people are saying that he's better at fly half. So I think that we finally got a fullback that's got pace, that's got X factor, and that's got a lot to prove. He's nice and young, he's very committed. He's very much in the mold of Tyron Green. He's not the biggest player around there, but he's very physical in terms of the way he'll throw his body around. So I'm really hoping that from a big game from him tomorrow night. Very exciting player. Then off the bench, PJ Botha, Morgan O'Dea and Ruan Dre will be the front row replacements. Lunga Ngube was called up after the two Stuka brothers were ruled out. Brings a little bit of bulk off the bench as well. Sibasiso Sangweni, still very young in his career, I think 22 years old. Nico Steyn, the junior Springbok as well, gets an opportunity ahead of Andre Warner. Then you've got Manuel Russ at 22, will cover the centres, and Tiaan Swanepoel, who can obviously cover fullback as well as fly half. So it's a very young side. I mean, if you're looking at sort of below 25 years old, you're looking at your Ruan Venters, your Frankie Horns, your Jordan Hendricksons, your Edel van der Merwes, your Wandisile Similani, Kieran Horn, Sibasiso Sangweni, Nico Steyn, Morgan O'Dea. It's a very young side. And they're getting a lot of experience at the moment. So I don't see them competing against Leinster, to be perfectly honest. But I think that for the first time, I look at the side and I think we don't get much better in terms of the players currently available. There are a lot of injuries which keep a couple of players out. But I don't think there are any fit players in the union, or players who, could be like the Chukwas, who are better than that starting at 15. And I think that, for me, is the biggest difference than what we've seen for a lot of the time. I understand when you've got injuries and you can't play your base 15, but so often the Lions run out with a 23 and a 15 that I just feel is not the best that we could select. Whereas I think this, for me, excites me a lot more. So, as a Lions fan, I want to see positivity. I want to see people going out and being brave. Go and use this game to put yourself on the map. Leinster are expected to win. They're the tournament favourites. They're expected to put you to the sword. Go out and give a good account of yourself. Let me know what your score predictions are down in the comments below. Please do smash a like on the video and subscribe to the channel as well. Thank you very much for watching. My name is Steven. I'll chat to you soon.